Hello, everyone. My name is George McNeely, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my internship here at UNC Carolina Athletics Business Office. I was able to spend about 8 weeks here interning for the department and really enjoyed my time. So I'm going to start today by talking to you guys a little bit about the progress of my internship and kind of what went on behind the scenes. So to start out, I met daily with my supervisors to kind of get an insight on what was going on that week, what deadlines needed to be met, and what things need to be taken care of from a financial standpoint. And as I progressed and as I learned more about what went on inside the office, I was able to assist on daily tasks and accounting projects that went on inside this office. And as I got better at that and I was able to understand the process and the financials a little bit more, I got to analyze the data of all our sports teams to kind of help better predict success amongst the sports when we're talking about coaches' pay. So I was also able to provide kind of a unique perspective into this office. I spent 4 years here on the UNC men's golf team, and it was kind of cool to be in the office and kind of see what went on behind the scenes, to make everything possible for my team and all the other teams here at UNC. I was able to, not have to worry about all the little details that went on. All I had to worry about was playing golf. And, people behind me, like the business office, he was able to take care of all the other things. And I really appreciate that. And I was really enjoyed being able to give back to the other teams and, do some work on that side of the market. So the main project that I worked on during my internship here was the Power Five Conference project. So some of the tasks inside this project was for me to report the salaries of the head and assistant coaches in all five conferences. Now, not only did I have to analyze and report their specific salaries, but I also had to report, the breakdown of what went into how much they're getting paid, from severance packages to outsourced income to buyouts to stipends, car payments, etc. And after I got all the information, I was able to analyze their pay and compare it to what UNC is paying their coaches. Now, it's important for me to state and for you guys to understand that I cannot give the specifics of the details of the breaking down the payment for these coaches and all the other coaches in the Power Five conferences because I don't have their consent and I don't have their authorization. However, I'll provide some data averages with highlights and key data without diving into the exact school numbers and the exact financials that go into it. Some of the findings that I found in my research that there's a positive correlation between coaches' salary and the success in the Power Five conferences. Now, there's a caveat to this. TV and media rights deals cause some Big 12 and SEC schools to be outliers in this data to kind of skew it upwards a little bit. Because these schools statistically just make a little bit more money than the other conferences, they're obviously going to be prone to paying their coaches more because they can afford it, right? However, amongst the schools that weren't a part of these outliers, you could still see the correlation between increased head coach and assistant coach pay and the team's success. Along with that, I want to note that the ACC is statistically one of the lowest paying conferences across all sports. So the first sport I want to dive into is softball. And the reason why I'm going to dive into softball today is because softball is recently in the market for a new head coach here at UNC. So I thought it was important to analyze the data and help the department kind of figure out what they should be looking for in their head coach in terms of payment. So the ACC is the second lowest paying conference amongst all conferences. And along with that, UNC is one of the lowest paying schools amongst softball schools amongst all the conferences. So they're the lowest of the lowest. And so maybe that's because UNC has had some lack of success in recent years. The last 5 or 7 years, they haven't really done much as what UNC would expect them. And so that low pay, I guess, is kind of reasonable. But what it kind of caused me to think about is, well, will increased pay promote success and will lack of pay reduce success? And if you look at the numbers to the right, you see Big 12 at 431,000 and the SEC at 350,000, which is 100 to 150,000 more than all of the other conferences. And those two conferences are statistically the best softball conferences. So maybe it's not the only reason, but you can see that correlation between that higher pay for these head coaches and that team success. So kind of my analysis of the data that I was looking at, UNC is in the market for the new head coach. And because of that, I highly recommend they increase their pay for this new coach or whatever coach they're trying to bring in. In order to, induce success, UNC must treat softball as one of their strongest sports, because if you don't believe in them, they won't believe in themselves. So treating them like their football or women's lacrosse or women's soccer, these great successful teams, right? These coaches make a lot more than average, right? Because they deserve it. Well, in order to get that great coach, you got to make them work for it. You got to show them that you believe in them. And I think that a little bit of that increase in pay will incentivize that coach and show that coach that the UNC Athletics believes in them. And then if the coaches know that they're believed in, then they will then pass that down to the players. And they'll set up that precedent for success amongst the players, coaches, and the program. Just bringing everyone in a cohesive unit. So my conclusion based off this information is that I think UNC should increase their coach's salary for the softball program to at least $200,000 with this new coach, just to keep up with the other successful softball programs and coaches around the nation. Now, there's plenty of schools that I won't highlight that are paying their coaches close to $1 million a year. And I'm not saying UNC needs to do that, but in order, it's like a car engine. You're not going to put regular gas inside a Ferrari. So you're going to put premium. So in order to get that best out of the coach, you need to put that investment in them, and so they can put that investment in their players, and just create that correlation for success. I thank you guys a lot for listening to me today. I wish I could have gone in deeper into the financials, but unfortunately, I was not at liberty to do so. But regardless, I hope you guys learned a little bit, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you very much for listening to me.